Date is June 2022. My name is Jeff Warren. I'm your host. I'm your official avatar of nothing whatsoever. I want to welcome all the regulars who tune in every Sunday night or most Sunday nights to join me, at least those who come live. Welcome also folks who watch it later in the week. Welcome whatever time zone you're in. Welcome if you're brand new. If this is your first Do Nothing project, this is what it is. It's a low-budget YouTube broadcast of me guiding a very simple meditation practice of some kind. Sometimes if I'm feeling inspired, I say a few words about the train wreck of my life with two little kids and what's happening, or some theme, and try to tie it to a meditation. And sometimes we just jump right into it, which is going to be more what we're up to today. But hello, everyone. Let's see some of the names. Brenda, Samantha. Thank you, Samantha. Brooke, Gord, Fred, Laura. Anyway, the real magic of the Do Nothing Project is the community. It's the opportunity to kind of sit with a bunch of other human beings who also have decided that this strange habit of doing nothing whatsoever, almost nothing, is a worthwhile endeavor in their life. And hey, Levy, good to see you. Hey, Emily, Fred, and hey, Ruth. I love doing this. It's been really helpful for me to just have this as one of my weekly practices. I also do a Zoom sit many days during the week with other friends, and I just find, it used to be I sat all the time in person with people, and now just there's less offerings because of COVID, and even if that comes back online now that I'm a dad with two little kids, it's just not as easy. I always wondered why when I ran a meditation group, none of my parents with kids could ever really come. Now I know why. So this makes it possible, and appreciate everyone showing up. So tonight I was thinking I was thinking actually about a prompt that I sometimes just remember when I'm meditating or when I'm walking around or whatever it is. Just stop. Literally S-T-O-P, stop. Like I'll be in the middle of doing something, or I'll be in the middle of ruminating or worrying about something, and it's like it'll pop out of the left hemisphere of my brain or something. Stop. Like, oh yeah. And it's not an injunction. It's not saying you can't keep thinking. It's not saying this is not allowed or something's wrong with this. It's just saying, it's more in the spirit of consider stopping. Consider stopping. Stop. And it's not just stopping the thought. It's really an invitation to stop the continual hurling forward momentum, whatever it is, whatever unconscious momentum that I'm inside, that I am convinced myself that I must finish this thing, I must do this thing, this is what needs to happen. It's saying, consider a different option. Stop. Sit here in the middle of your life and just notice your breath, notice your body, notice nothing, just be present. So that's going to be, I'm going to drop that a couple times into our meditation. You can do it in meditation as well. And it's amazing when you are invited to do it, how often you actually find yourself doing something. So Tina is relating here. I do it all the time. Draw your attention to your interior condition. Helps make crazy life more manageable. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stop. S-T-O-P, in all caps, like Rose is saying. As Brooke is saying, we don't stop, we can't really get clarity. Stopping is really the start of it all. Brooke, stopping is starting. Stopping is the start. I like that. The restart. So let's stop. This is the bell. Happy you're here. For those who've never been here before, you're always welcome to post comments. Queries as well. It's sort of the community is the teacher here, so lots of people offer thoughts or suggestions, and that's kind of how we like to do things, pooling the wisdom. But I try to see some of those. I try to see those comments at the end. We do that at the end, but they go by fast, and I often miss a lot. So just a heads up about that. You may have to come a few times before I actually see something that you're asking. So let's stop. Okay, so I've got 8:07 in my time zone here, so it means we'll stop at 8:32. You can do the math wherever you are, and whatever time you're beginning this. My guidance is always just a sort of invitation. So if you have your own practice that you slip into, or you want to tune me out altogether, that's of course absolutely fine. I like to start with a few kind of deliberate breaths and marking that transition from the hectic regular life to maybe a more stopped life for a few moments anyway. Stopping in place, the breath is sort of the measure of that line. So as you breathe in, stretching up. As you breathe out, settling down. Remembering our equanimity principle at the beginning is so helpful. A lot of that is almost an attitude of deciding to have a welcoming approach to all sounds, sensations, anything that can happen, thoughts, feelings. You're not going to be rigidly bracing against any of those things or trying to quash something down. It's just this, oh yeah, everything's allowed to be here, every perfect and imperfect thing. And really that's a kind of energy efficiency. It's saying, I'm not going to waste time fighting 1,000 miniature battles. And when that lets go, there can be a feeling of letting go a little bit, a feeling of becoming a little more present, settling a little more into the seat. And we stop. Stay right here. And some of us like to literally stay right here, not even implement a meditation object, just sit and be. Like there's nowhere you want to go or need to be other than here, and you just sit and enjoy being, eyes open or closed. And to support that, you can also, there is the option of working with a home base. So just means some simple sound or sensation that can kind of be an anchor for your attention here at the beginning as things get settled. Your mind wanders off, you come back to it. So the feeling of the breath, of course, is one, the sensation at your nostril or your belly. But you can choose another body sensation. You can choose a point in the body, just something to, even if there's no, quote, thing there, no sensation that you're feeling, you can still kind of orient to a place in space. It's interesting, like in the middle of your belly, for example. Or you can work with a sound, like a sound of a fan or traffic or birds. You can even work with back of the eyes, looking at the kind of lava lamp swirl. Something to keep you here, something sensorial. Keeps you present, and it kind of organizes attention for a little while. So that's an option too. I'll be back in a little while. anytime in this practice, you can just quietly say inside yourself, stop. And notice the effect of that, not as a strict injunction, just as something to consider. Stop. Something to remember. It's like a way to keep us mindful. And when you say it, you may notice, oh, there was something going along, going, and now I can stop that. So just drop that in at whatever pace makes sense for you. Might just be every few minutes. Might only be once. Stop. Thoughts may stop or not. Awareness continues. There's a difference between awareness and thinking. When we stop, we come back to awareness. Beginning to appreciate that distinction, becoming a connoisseur of that stopped, aware space without turning it into a thing, but it's here. Stop. Be right here. Stopping right here. Not needing to, not needing a situation where there's no thoughts or no distractions. Those will happen. Just choosing to not follow along with them. It's a kind of pulling back, kind of vertical drop into the present, being okay with that. Actually, it's a relief, letting everything else just pass by. Okay, for the last couple minutes here, we usually finish our do nothing sits with some form of appreciation practice or gratitude practice. I was just thinking about the word fellowship, appreciating the fellowship of this group, appreciating fellowship more broadly in my life, the human companionship, where we find it. But this one for sure here, the Do Nothing Project, the coming together, a kind of common purpose of doing very little, how that has a sort of support baked into it. Appreciating that. I was taking a moment for that, appreciating what it offers you, what the practice offers you, the company, the fellowship, and maybe just saying thank you in your way. There's this cool way of finishing practices in some forms of Buddhism called the dedication of merit, where you basically, it's like you're giving away the benefits of the practice. You think about who else in your life you like to share it with, and you imagine dedicating the practice to them. You imagine spreading it out to them. So we can finish with that too. Just thinking of one or two people or whoever comes to mind, and just imagine that you could give them something of the, whatever it is that you get from this, something of the support, the clarity, the sanity, the stability, the peace. And imagine passing that on. May everyone find their way to that. Thank you for your practice. I can't name the Broadway show it's from, Laura, tell me. Good to hear from all of you. Hey, Kent. It does go by fast. For me, too. Thanks, Samantha. It's good to have you here. Thank you, Andrew, for moderating, as always, in the blue font. Thanks, Annie. I'm glad you find it nourishing. Hey, Lucille. Good to see you. Laura Ross. Valentina. Ah, Jesus Christ Superstar. I've never watched it. I'll have to go see it. Ruth saying, it's so good to stop. I've been doing a bit of ruminating lately, and good to stop. Yeah. There's a place for rumination, a certain amount, and a place to stop. Breath, do I take intentional breaths or breathe naturally when I meditate? I just breathe normally. I mean, you can control your breath, and there are practices like that, but in general, something like this is just, just let it come and go like it normally does. Don't make it into a thing. And if paying attention to your breath, if you're using that as a home base, ends up kind of like psyching you out, then just don't use it as a meditation object. Just let it be there in the background. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Gabrielle. Loved stop as a tool and variability. I took a deep breath every time you prompted and said it in my head a lot. So helpful. I find it helpful too. I'm glad. Diana. Beautiful. Lights twinkling. Andrew, I don't even know where meditation is taking me or what it leads to, but I just know I need to do it. It's like having a new meter for going to the bathroom. It's like having a new meter for going to the bathroom, but for meditation. That's true about the not knowing. That's one of the beautiful things I like about practice. It makes me okay with not knowing where things are going in some way. But yet there's this deep feeling that I'm in the right stream when I'm doing it, and having that trust. Patrick. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, my man. I'm glad the practice is supporting the stopping. Nice, Brooke. Good little suggestion for Brooke on how to use the breath to keep us awake and or settled. Well, friends, as always, it's great to have you here. Good to be with you, and thanks everyone who tunes in later. I'll see you next Sunday. Have a good night. Take care of yourself, Patrick.